Hey folks, my name's Ed Trevors. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of St. Margaret of Scotland that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Gwe. Got a lot to say, and so let's just get started on this. Apparently my telling people what my preferred pronouns are bothers some. I've gotten a bunch of comments, especially over the last few weeks. I've gotten a bunch of comments and a couple of emails about this particular issue. Nobody's really happy about it. Most people telling me that, the tried and true, you're going to burn in hell for this kind of thing. That, expressing my preferred pronouns is somehow unbiblical. It's somehow anti-Christian. I've engaged a little bit. I wanted to understand why people were angry about me expressing my pronouns. I mean, the reason I express my pronouns, the reason I offer my preferred pronouns is because I hope to help make the practice a common, normal thing. Not because everybody needs to walk around and say, oh, by the way, I'm he, him, and his, but because there are members of our society who would benefit from a society that sees that kind of communication as normal. That they would benefit so that they're not the only ones who are walking around saying, by the way, I'm she, her, hers. Or I'm they, them, theirs. I'm he, him, his. To take away the, that's odd, kind of reaction to that kind of conversation, to that kind of interaction. That's why I offer my pronouns. I don't offer them because I'm getting upset that people refer to me incorrectly. That's never happened to me in my entire life. I offer them because there are some people in our world who can benefit from us doing this same thing. But somehow, for some people out in the world, this is the problem. And so I'm asking the question, why does it bother you? Right? Why does it bother you so much that I'm doing that? Why does it bother you so much that others would do that? Why does it bother you so much that other people identify differently than the way you think they should identify themselves? Why does it bother you so much how other people believe something different than what you believe, or think something different than what you think? Why does it bother you that people out there around you may not find comfort in the same things that you find comfort in, or guide their life according to the same moral compass that you guide yours by? I mean, so long as those people aren't harming others, then they aren't harming you, what's your issue? Now, the answer that generally comes back to me is something along the lines, I guess, I could condense it to be, well, we're worried about their eternal soul. We're worried about their eternal damnation. We're worried that they are going to burn in hell, and we want to straighten them out. We want to correct them. We want to teach them the right ways about living this life. We want to teach them about the sins of their life so that they can repent and turn and go in a different direction. We want to make sure that they understand what is true and what is good and what is moral and what is just. We want to make sure that they understand all that God is. We want to make sure that they understand who it is they're supposed to be following and who it is they're supposed to be ignoring. We want to make sure that they see the world, and they see this life, they see God in the same way that we see God. It's all fine and good. Except it isn't at all fine and good. That kind of approach to the people of this world is misguided and filled with fear. It's filled with fear because within it is the desire for control. And control is a human response to being afraid, to feeling insecurities. If I'm feeling stressed, if I'm feeling anxious, if I'm feeling insecure and afraid, a tried and true solution to those feelings is to seize control and to make people, to make things, to make organizations, to make the world behave the way I want it to behave. It's not a modern thing. It's not an ancient thing. It is a human thing. And it has been with us since the first people. This is scary. I want to control this situation. If I control this situation, then I am master of this situation. This kind of attitude, well, in all fairness, it takes all the power from God. But it also, and I think this might be a more modern issue, it removes us from the people around us. It removes us from those relationships. It makes our voices, it makes our ideas, it makes our opinions, it makes our beliefs, all the things that we want to share with the world to make sure that the people in this world are safe because they're doing things our way. It makes us sound, well, like crashing cymbals. Just smash, 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 smash. That's all it sounds like to the people around us. It's more than annoying. It's irritating. And it makes the world tune us out when we do that. See, the only way we can actually communicate with another person is if we're willing to go to them. Right? If we have a message to share, then we must take that message out. Jesus did it quite effectively. We had to take the message out. We had to take the message to the people. Jesus took the message to the people. We have to take the message to the people. If you have a message to share, if you have an idea to share, if you have an opinion to share, you must take it out to them. And when you take it out to them, you must be aware of how they communicate, how they hear, the language they speak, the tones they use, the mannerisms they use. You need to be aware of their reactions. You need to be aware of how they will speak back to you and how that communication will go. When you desire to share your message with others, you got to go to them. You got to speak like them. You got to hear them in their language. Finally, you have to respect them and love them enough. And if we're here, if we're upset about pronouns because we're desperately trying to save people's eternal souls, then it's about love. So if you truly love them, then you have to go to them and accept them as they are, where they are. The only way our voices will ever be heard, the only way what we want to offer will ever be accepted, is if the people we're speaking to know that we love them as they are. The only way that they will accept this message of ours is if they trust us. The only way that they will trust us is if there is a strong, positive, life-giving relationship between us, where they feel as though they are growing because of our presence, where they are becoming stronger because of our presence, where they are experiencing light and life because of our presence. And it's only in those types of relationships that the message we want to share can be received. Now, for me, the really cool thing about this, as the person who desires to share the message, is that if we are willing to enter into that kind of relationship with somebody because we really have a message we are desperate to share with that particular person, and if we are willing to go to them, and if we are willing to speak their language, and if we are willing to receive them, their communication as they desire to share it, and if we are willing to accept them as they are, then oftentimes the message that we really needed to get to them loses its power. loses its power. We end up growing. We end up growing because of what they share with us. We end up experiencing transformation because of what they shared with us, because ultimately those people that we are desperate to share our message with usually have something of equal value to share with us. And that message that we considered so important, it loses its urgency. May the Lord bless you, may the Lord keep you, may the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you, may you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that if the Spirit moves us to deliver a message of utter importance and urgency, that we would give all we are first to developing the needed relationships. That we develop relationships of respect, love, and acceptance. That we would allow the other to transform us before demanding they be transformed. Amen. Nemultus.